Hey there, welcome back to my channel. I'm Sarah, this is Brown Family Goods. Today I'm cooking up a menu of Thanksgiving inspired meals. So I've got 2 delicious meals for you and 1 delicious dessert. I'm also collaborating with my friend Kari over at Keep It Simple DIY, and she is also sharing Thanksgiving inspired meals. I'll let her introduce herself shortly, and then you can pop over to her channel and watch her video of Thanksgiving inspired meals as soon as you're done here. Today I'm going to share with you 2 delicious dinners. The first is a super simple ham roasted up in the crock pot, and served alongside the ham we're going to have a shaved Brussels sprout salad. So wait, if you don't like Brussels sprouts, just hang in with me. I'm going to give you some options for that too, but I think you will love this one. Next up, I've got an oven roasted turkey recipe that would be great on your Thanksgiving table, or just to get you ready for Thanksgiving if you're serving a big family. Along with the turkey roast, I'm going to be serving up some stuffing cups. Finally, to finish it all off, we'll make up a tart and sweet cranberry snack cake. If you love cranberries as much as I do, I'm looking for any kind of way to get them into recipes this time of year. So stick around, let's get started on some Thanksgiving inspired recipes. Okay, before we do anything else, we need to get both of these meats going because they're kind of long cooking, a couple of hours each. First one we're going to start is the ham, and it's going to go into the crock pot. It couldn't be simpler. What I need to do though, because of the type of ham that I bought, I was being really careful at the grocery store, and I kept reminding myself, get the sliced one, get the sliced one. And guess what I didn't do? I did not get the sliced one. That's what happens when you shop distracted. This is just a half ham, boneless ham, of course. You could get a full version with the bone, that spiral cut and all of that. You would just want to probably double the ingredients that I'm gonna use. And the only ingredients that I'm gonna use is some brown sugar and some pineapples. So what I'm gonna do before we get this into the crock pot though is go ahead and cut it into some slices, because once it's hot, it's really not going to be very fun to try to cut up. So if you are new to my channel, I like to share about meal prepping and kind of planning meals for 2 people, cooking meals for 2 people, that type of thing. So since I'm cooking 2 dinners today for this video, this will be our meal prep for the week for sure. We will have plenty to eat on once we're done with all of this food today. Okay, so now this can go into my crock pot here. I have my crock pot on the back counter there, so I'll just put the ham in first and get it all kind of just tucked in here. So the ham's all in there now, and we are just going to layer in a couple of ingredients. So I should have opened this can. So we are going to put the juice of this pineapple in there as well, because that'll be the liquid that we need to keep this nice and moist. And then the pineapple, we'll just dump it over top. You could also use crushed pineapple if you prefer that. That would be just as delicious. I just want to be able to pick around the pineapple. For me, I know Alan will really like the pineapple. I don't mind it, but if I don't want to eat it, then if it was crushed pineapple, it would be a little harder to pick around, you know. Okay, so this is about half a cup of brown sugar here, packed brown sugar. I'm just going to put it into the crock pot just like this. It's completely ready to go at this point. So depending on the size of the ham that you get, it will probably take more or less time. So you don't want to overdo it though. Since the ham's already cooked, you don't want to dry it out. So I'm going to probably put mine on high for about an hour and a half or 2 hours. Let's see how it's looking and if that brown sugar kind of melts into everything, and then I will update you with exactly how long it took to get everything kind of heated through. Okay, next up we have the turkey roast. So this is a turkey breast roast. It's all white meat, and it comes in a little bag. I think I showed you a picture of that. So we're just gonna put it in the pan just like this with they say the skin side up. This is really the only skin that I see on there, so I guess we'll put it up. It's in some netting, and you don't wanna remove that netting before it's cooked, because that kind of keeps it together as one roast that you can then slice later. Otherwise it would fall apart into some separate pieces. So what's going to go into here is the juice of 2 oranges, also 2 cans of whole berry cranberry sauce, and 1 packet of French onion soup mix. So I'm going to mix all of that together here in this bowl first, and then I'll pour it all over top before we put it into the oven to roast it. I don't think that's gonna come out as easily as I think it will. All right, so we'll kind of break this up and get it to come out here. Everybody out. So this is kind of a sweet and savory dish. I'm gonna mix in the onion soup mix. I'll just pour it in. You have a couple of options here. You just need about half a cup of liquid in general. So you can use orange juice, you can use apple cider, you could use chicken broth, which would be good too, or you can just use water. You just need some liquid to add to this mixture to make it a little bit more fluid and keep everything from drying out. So I'm just gonna squeeze my oranges right into here. Let's hope they're juicy. They do not feel like they are. This little turkey roast, it says on the bag you can cook it from frozen or you can cook it from thawed. Mine is sort of partially frozen. They come frozen in the store. I got mine yesterday and just thawed it in the refrigerator overnight, so it's still a little bit frozen on the inside. So we'll see exactly how long it takes. It's probably going to be around 2 hours. Just want to make sure you take the internal temperature, of course, and make sure it gets to 165 degrees. We'll mix all this together and then we'll pour it over our turkey roast. And it's going to bake uncovered. Probably I'll start with 2 hours and check the temperature then. This is a really good crock pot recipe as well. If you just want to throw it in as you start the day and then cook it low and slow all day, it turns out really nice that way too. Okay, so we'll just spread this around here in the bottom. And then this is just going to go right into the oven and get it going. Okay, so that's 2 things already done, and we are going to start on the cranberry cake next, because that's the thing I'm most looking forward to trying, and so we need to get it done. Okay, I'm gonna get a few things ready for our cranberry cake recipe so that we can get it into the oven very soon. But while I do, I thought Kari could introduce herself to you. She's over at Keep It Simple DIY, so let you meet her now.
I'm Kari from Keep It Simple DIY. Today I'm making 3 different delicious Thanksgiving inspired meals that you can make any time of year. Okay, I'm going to thicken this up and make a roux by adding 1/3 of a cup, which is the same amount of butter, but I'm adding that of flour. There. Oh yeah, this is beautiful. Look at this. Next up, we're going to add just any stuffing. I chose sage and onion. I thought that sounded good. Now we're going to pour some chicken broth, or this is turkey broth, right over the top. We want to completely submerge it. Let's see if we can get all of these submerged, because they said they all need to have been submerged before you bake it. Okay, so 40 minutes is how long this is supposed to take at 400 degrees. I'm going to get that in the oven. These are so comforting and cozy, and I just love them for a cool day, and I am so excited to share these recipes with you. So I would love to see you over at Keep It Simple DIY.
Cranberry cake going. Isn't Kari the best? She and I actually collaborated on another video. It's probably been a couple years ago at this point. It's way back in the archives. I'll try to link it like up in one of these things so that if you want to watch it, I'll definitely link it in the description box if you want to watch it too. Anyway, let's get started on the cranberry cake. My cat is sitting in the window meowing. That's Tango on the inside, and then Sheldon is on the outside. He's our outdoor cat, and Tango loves to sit in the window and meow at him. Yeah. That's great. So if you hear meowing, that's why. He's just enjoying himself. So the first thing with the cranberry cake recipe, I went ahead and got myself a dish ready for it. You can use, I'm using kind of a large pie dish because I wanted mine a little bit thicker. You can also use a 9x13 pan for this. But it'll be a little bit thinner than this dish that I'm using today. I just like this dish, and it's a little more manageable for me to keep it covered and that type of thing. But I'm going to go ahead and start out with eggs and sugar. We're going to beat those together first until they get really, really fluffy, because this cake doesn't actually have any leavener, no baking soda or no baking powder, but these eggs and sugar, the eggs do the work of the lift in this cake. So that's what we're going to start with. So I'm just going to crack my 3 eggs in here. If you don't know, we have about 100 chickens outside, and a lot of them are old girls at this point. So if you think we're getting 100 eggs a day, we are not. A lot of them are aged out of producing eggs anymore. We used to do farmers markets every single weekend for about 4 years. We did farmers markets every weekend, and we've stopped at this point. We still have lots of eggs, just not quite as many as we used to have. So in goes to the 3 eggs in my bowl here. I'm gonna put in 2 cups of sugar. So yes, that's a good amount of sugar for one cake, but these cranberries are very tart, so they need a little bit of sweetening up. So I am just gonna beat away at these eggs for quite a while until they change from a soupy mix to a nice, fluffy mix. So my eggs are done, and you can see that they've basically doubled in size, and they have this really fluffy and light colored appearance. Okay, so I'm gonna just leave my beater hanging off the side here. Now we're going to put in the very soft butter and vanilla, and we'll work those in. You guys, I cannot tell you how long, every time I use this mixer, this hand mixer, I'm always think, how long have I had this? At some point in your life, you start to ask yourself that about a lot of things. Sometimes I'll put a pair of pajamas on or something like that and go, how long have I had these? But you know, if they're still good, they're still good. You can't really change that. No need to buy a new one. But this little thing, I mean, probably at least 15 years I've had this. Quite a while. Now we got the butter in and the vanilla in. We're gonna put away the hand mixer for now and switch to just mixing in with a spatula the flour and then the cranberries. You could use frozen cranberries for this, but you can probably tell by looking at this, this is gonna be a stiff batter. If you use frozen cranberries, it's gonna be even stiffer because it's gonna make that butter cold really fast. So I would say if you use frozen cranberries, thaw them out first. What I like to do is buy several bags of cranberries when they first are in the stores, you know, nice and fresh for the year. And then I'll freeze them. But if you have done that, or you have some that you're taking from the freezer, thaw them out first. Otherwise, it's gonna be really difficult to mix them into this batter because you can see it's a really stiff batter. No liquids going in here. So for the recipes today, I will share those or a link to them in the description box below. Some of them I will put onto my recipe website because they'll be my recipes, but others like this cranberry cake is from another website, so I'll have the link to her website listed down below. So you can just easily click over and use her recipe there. So cranberries every season remind me of this other YouTube channel that I absolutely love, and I think that you probably would too. It's called A Country Life, and the lady's name is Jennifer Brockman. She shares about their family in Wisconsin. They have several children and a few that are still at home, but the reason why cranberries make me think of them every year is because they are cranberry farmers. So they have like all these different cranberry marshes, and in fact it was just cranberry harvest season apparently, and every year I love to watch her videos where she shares about how they harvest the cranberries. It's absolutely fascinating. I'm mixing in 12 ounces of cranberries. And if you haven't checked out her channel, I'm gonna link it in the description box too, because it's a channel that I love to watch. She makes simple food, she shares about her family and the cranberry marsh and all that stuff, and she's just a delight to watch. So anyway, whenever I make anything with cranberries, I always think about that channel because it's so good, and it's just so interesting to see how they are actually harvesting the cranberries and growing them throughout the year and all that stuff. So okay, I've got my cranberries about mixed in here. Just want to make sure I get to the bottom. And now this batter is going to go into this pan, and we're going to get it baking up. I have the oven preheated to 350 degrees. I don't know if I mentioned that for that cranberry roast. I'm cooking it at 350 until this cake gets done, and then I'll turn it down to 325. I think I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of sugar over the top of this just to give it kind of that crunchy top, because it doesn't have frosting or anything. It's more so just like a snack cake that you eat on its own. I'm going to use this more coarse sugar. I'm going to put some in this bowl first because I don't really want to stick my hand in there. This is what we use for coffee sugar if we use sugar. I haven't been using sugar in my coffee recently. I've been using the skinny syrups. I'm not going to use all this, don't worry. But I wanted to have enough to sprinkle. I've been using those skinny syrups, which are absolutely delicious and 0 calories, 0 everything. 0 carbs, 0 all that stuff. And they're just as good. In fact, they have a lot of really great flavors. So you can kind of flavor up your coffee any way you like it, which is even better. Okay, so just a little sugar on top. This is going to go into the oven, and I think it's going to take about 35 or 40 minutes, but we'll check it because we want to make sure that a toothpick in the center comes out clean before we take it out, because we don't want it to fall or be really soft and underbaked in the middle. Okay, so for my Brussels sprout salad, I am actually going to use my food processor to shave them. The only Brussels sprouts that I could find in my grocery store were very small. So if I try to cut those by hand, I'm really going to be testing my dexterity, I have a feeling. So I am going to use my slicer that's on my food processor, and that'll make my life a lot easier. After I shredded these up, I didn't realize my battery had died, but I shredded up, I didn't shred. I also really thinly sliced a apple. This is a Honeycrisp apple. You can use whatever kind of apples you like. You can peel it or don't peel it. I did not peel mine. I don't really mind it as long as the peel is pretty thin. So that's no problem for me. Also into here is going to go about a half a cup of dried cranberries. Pretty good bit of them. This is a cranberry heavy meal. I didn't even notice that as I was preparing it. We need about a 1/4 cup of oil. This is avocado oil. That's almost exactly how much I have left here. So I'm just going to put most of that in there. We need about a 1/4 cup of apple cider vinegar as well. Might have to measure that because I don't want to go overboard on it. We're just making the dressing. This is a 1/3 cup measure, so we'll just do a little bit scant. There was that. I need some honey as well. This is some raw honey that my neighbor gave me, so extremely local honey. About 2 tablespoons. This is a salad that you could very easily, and I would probably recommend making at least several hours before you want to eat it, if not the day before, because all of the Brussels sprouts and everything in there really need to kind of marinate in this dressing, and it tastes so much better after it has sat in that marinade. So that's why we're going to go ahead and mix it up and let it sit. So we need about a tablespoon of Dijon mustard. I'm going to get the whisk out and we'll get this all worked together. About a teaspoon of salt, about half a teaspoon of pepper. If you had some sunflower seeds, that would be a really good addition in here too. I do not have any. I thought I did, but I do not. You could probably use another type of nut as well, like sliced almonds. That would be good too. Let's see what we think. It's so good. It's got a really nice zing to it from that vinegar. I actually think I'm going to put a little bit more salt in, and then it's probably good to go. So this I'm just going to pour over everything, and we'll try to give everything a good stir. This container has a nice lid, so I will put this into my refrigerator. Just throw the lid on it and let it all marinate together in the dressing before we're ready to eat it this evening for dinner. Whoop. Because Brussels sprouts are really kind of hearty, so they can hold up, they can really stand up to a dressing like this, and they stay good. So this salad is a salad that you can eat on for a couple of days, not like a fresh lettuce salad where you would want to finish it that same day, or it's going to be super wilted. This is kind of better as it gets wilted because it becomes a little bit more tender too. Okay, everything is going to come together with a couple hours in the refrigerator, and then this will be good to go. I was just checking on our cake, and it is still needing some more time. So it's probably going to end up taking more like 45 or 50 minutes than I put it in for 35 to begin with because I just didn't know. Now we'll move on to the stuffing cups, and this is gonna be a delicious recipe because who doesn't like stuffing? In fact, well, I don't even know if I like stuffing. I've never had it. I've had cornbread dressing though. So I got the cornbread mix basically from Pepperidge Farm. This is gonna be very easy, but there's no way that I'm making dressing from scratch for a weeknight meal. Just not gonna happen. It says it has some seasoning in there. We're gonna go ahead and season it ourselves as well. First, I'm gonna put into here 2 cups of chicken stock, chicken broth. If you saw my last video, I made, well, this is like actually sealed. If you saw my last video, I made a chicken and sausage gumbo, and I cooked a whole chicken for that, which this is the broth that I had left over from that. I'm gonna actually overestimate the amount of broth I need and put 2.5 cups because you wanna make sure you get the dressing moist enough with broth that everything is wet enough. So I'm gonna put this in the microwave first, and I'm also gonna melt up 4 tablespoons of butter. That will go in here too. We're good? We got Moose drinking water. He's been outside. The weather is so nice right now that all the dogs are absolutely loving being outside, which is very unusual for them. I have 3 Great Danes and 1 Maltipoo. Moose is at his bowl. That's who you hear drinking. But the Danes really, besides Clark, the big boys do not love to be outside. They are much more couch lovers than outside lovers. Okay, so into my broth mixture, I'm gonna put some seasonings: salt, pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, and some minced onion, and some poultry seasoning. Probably about a half a teaspoon of salt, about a half a teaspoon of pepper. I'm just putting it in the liquid, that way it really disperses more evenly throughout the dressing. Minced onion, probably about a teaspoon. Some garlic powder, probably half a teaspoon. And poultry seasoning, I'll probably put about half a teaspoon of that. I don't want to get too crazy on that, but we do want that flavor. I had one grandma that made dressing, you know, pretty normally, I guess, for Southern dressing. And then I had one grandma who made basically green dressing. She loved the flavor of sage, so her dressing would be green with so much poultry seasoning and sage. Still good, but a little heavy-handed on the sage. Okay, so I'm just gonna start pouring in this liquid, and we'll toss together the bread cubes and all of that until they're really nice and moistened. If you wanted to, you could always put in here also a couple of stalks of celery and some diced onion too. I am not going to that trouble today. However, I might go outside and grab some fresh parsley and put in here because I think it does need a little bit of color. So maybe we'll go out and grab some of that here in just a second. I'm probably gonna go ahead and use the rest of this. Everything is getting moistened, but I know it will absorb all of this liquid that I'm putting. So this should be just about right, about 2.5 cups of stock and then 4 tablespoons of butter. Get all my minced onion out of there. I think I am gonna put some diced celery in there too. It probably needs a little crunch to it, you know? Add in 2 stalks of finely diced celery, and that'll cook in the oven with these. I think that'll be good because they need a little bit of something to them, right? Okay. So here goes this. Let me pop out and grab some fresh parsley too, and we'll put that in there as well. Got some parsley. So I'm just gonna quickly give this a mince. This is just from my green stalk that's just right outside my door there. So I know it's nice and fresh and clean because it never gets touched on the ground and never gets splashed on or anything like that. And I always know that it's nice and ready to go. So I love that. All right, so that's probably about a teaspoon. once it was all cut up. Okay, so now then we'll mix all that in, and this will be ready to go into the little cups. I went ahead and sprayed my muffin tin. I sprayed all 12 just to be sure. So my terrible tin here. I'm gonna use a scooper, and we'll see how many cups we get from this. This is gonna be so good because it's gonna get a little bit crispy on the outside and then still be nice and delicious on the inside. Well, that's delightful. So let's test the cake, and then this can go into the oven where the cake was. I actually do think that the cake is done now. So that was about 45 minutes for the cake. I'm gonna take it out, set it on the back counter back here to cool down a while. Okay, yum. These are going in. Okay, I think it's time to pull out these stuffing cups. They look like they're getting nice and toasty. Oh yeah, those look good. Crazy because it really legitimately smells like Thanksgiving in here. It smells so good, so good. Okay, I have like every appliance going, so you'll probably hear them all. But I had to get into this cake. Look at how divine. Oh my gosh, it looks so good. It has this crispy top, and we put that extra sugar on top, but it is so fluffy throughout. Look at the size of this. Oh my gosh, perfectly cooked. So about 45 or 50 minutes, and then as I said, don't forget to stick a toothpick in and make sure that it is really well baked in the middle as well. So okay, I'm gonna grab a fork, and I'm gonna have some of this. Look at how good this looks. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to try it. I know it's gonna be delicious. I can already tell, but it is so tender. It didn't even need baking soda or baking powder. Like, it is just as fluffy as can be. Those cranberries are like pucker up. So the cake is so nice and sweet, and it is such a good complement to the fresh cranberries. And the fresh cranberries are like really jammy and cooked in there. Oh my gosh. Alan is going to absolutely love this. Okay, you guys, we have officially made a ton of incredibly delicious food, and it smells just like Thanksgiving in here at this moment. It's crazy, and I'm so excited to eat a little bit of all of this for dinner tonight. So we are going to feast. I haven't even cut into the turkey roast yet because I want to make sure that it has a long time to rest so it doesn't lose any of its juiciness, but I will show you once I do cut into it. Here is our Brussels sprout salad. It is so good. It's had about 2.5 hours to sit in the fridge since we made it. It's incredible. It's incredible. And it's going to be a salad that tastes good for days and days. Here are our stuffing cups. These taste just like my dressing that I make on Thanksgiving. Why am I going to all that work to make it when I could buy that bag stuff and it tastes almost exactly the same? This is such a good way to eat it. I've already eaten one of these because they're delicious. I tried them out. They have like a crispy exterior, and then they're nice and soft like dressing on the inside. I'm not even gonna pick up the roast because it is still screaming hot. I tried the cake with you. It's incredible. Alan is on his way home now, and I know he's ready to dig into that too. I sent him a little picture saying I made you a treat today. And then I made up a plate here of this delicious ham and salad and stuffing cups, and this is gonna be dinner tonight. So, I mean, how much better can it be? We have food for days and days and days at this point. So we will be very happy with this as our meal prep. Some Thanksgiving inspired dishes. Don't forget also to check out Kari's dishes that she made over on her channel. Kari at Keep It Simple DIY. You can go down into the description box and click right over to her page since we're collaborating on this video and doing it together. So thanks again for being here. I hope you have enjoyed today's video. If you did, don't forget to leave it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you're new here and you enjoyed today's video. Anyway, I hope to see you back here again real soon. I finally got the turkey roast cut up, and it is divine. This has turned into like almost a jammy chutney. I'm going to mix all of that up and put it over the meat when I put it into the storage dish here. So It is so good, and it is so moist as well. So I made sure I took it out right at about 160 degrees, and then I left it sit for about 30 minutes. I just wanted to be sure that all of the juice is really distributed so that when I cut, you see I don't have a big pool here of liquid or anything, just a little bit. And that means that the juice is really distributed back through the meat before I gave it a cut. And everything is going to be nice and tender and juicy when we go to eat it.